It's been a little over 4 weeks since my last post. That's because I had a baby. This is Jovie Lee, and I'm just gonna share our birth story with you. Um, as you know, for my last video, my last post, I said it was labeled 40-week pregnancy rant, and I was very upset and emotional and ready to get her out. And anyways, in that video I said that I felt like she was going to come that day, and I was sort of right. Just off by a few hours, but I was pretty close. The night before, on Wednesday night, I started having cramps, like period cramps, and I had cramps all night long. I couldn't hardly sleep, and I had a doctor's appointment on Thursday afternoon at 1 o'clock, and so I went to the OB unit at the hospital. That's where my doctor and another OBGYN that deliver babies, that's where we go to the doctor. So anyways, so I go and they check me, and I was like 4 centimeters dilated or something like that. Anyways, it was enough that they wanted me to stay. So I did. So 1 o'clock I went to the OB unit and they checked me and they wanted me to stay. So I had contractions all that afternoon, but I didn't want my husband to have to get off work yet until they knew that I was going to be staying, like officially staying, because there was still a chance they would send me home. And so anyways, about 4 they said I was staying and I was going to have the baby that day. And so my husband left work about then and came up there. And so, you know, some of it is kind of a blur to me. Some of it I kind of need Steven here next to me telling you, because it was just kind of a blur, especially like times. My times and how long everything was and durations of contractions and everything is all a blur. 1, just because I was in labor, and 2, because our hospital runs on like 24-hour time, like military time, and so the clock would be like 2,200 hours, and I'm trying to. And when you're like having contractions, you're not sitting there trying to count back and see what the time really is, which I guess that's like, oh, you okay? You good? Oh, switch. Okay, she's good. Yeah, so when I'm having contractions, I don't really have the time to look at the clock and figure out what the time is. So, anyways, yeah, so I had contractions like all evening, and I just knew she was going to be born like at like 11 o'clock at night. I wanted her to be born that day. I was so ready to meet her and to not be pregnant anymore. And I just kept saying, I get to sleep on my back. I get to sleep on my back. That's something I'd been looking forward to for a few months. So anyways, that didn't happen. She wasn't born at 11 o'clock at night. She wasn't born at 1 o'clock at night. She was born the next day at 8 in the morning. Because she kind of got stuck. I think probably between like 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe, I was dilated to like a 9. I really can't remember. I don't know. And so they wanted me to push. And my contractions were really close together and super intense. They wanted me to push, so they got all set up in the room, and it looked like they were gonna like, I don't know what, it looked like they were gonna like butcher a cow in there. They had so many like knives and stuff, like trays of stuff in there. They just rolled all kinds of stuff in there. There was like 5 people in there at one point. I'm like, seriously, do we need this many people in here seeing what's going on right now? It's crazy. Oh, but the bed, like the labor and delivery bed, is crazy. Like, it's a normal bed, and then it just like sits up in the air. It's crazy. So I was like sitting up in the air like this, and it was crazy. Oh, and then the next day my foot hurt really bad, because at one point they have these like little foot things you put your feet in. Not like stirrups. I did not want that happening. But those little foot pedal things. And anyways, at one point my foot like slid off of it. It hurt really bad. So anyways, it still kind of hurts. Not really. I'm just being dramatic. But yeah, so I pushed. My husband said it was like an hour or 2. I really don't know. And I really think it's a blur to him too, because that was like so crazy. But he did so good. He was coaching me, and all the nurses were bragging on him, like, to him and to our family and everything, and he coached me so well and just kept reminding me to breathe and to push, and he did really good. I think if it was just me and him in a barn somewhere, he would have done amazing. Yeah, except for the fact that she got stuck, so that would have been scary. But yeah, she got stuck. Everything on me swelled up, and her head was like a huge cone and was swollen. And so they said that I needed to just rest and not push and see if the swelling would go down and if she would come down. And at that point, I was kind of discouraged. I felt like I wasn't doing it right, like I wasn't pushing right, like something was wrong because I couldn't feel her head. And like, if they touched it, like if they reached in and touched it, I could feel it. But other than that, I couldn't feel her. And I thought, I really should feel her, and I didn't. And I didn't have any medicine or anything. No pain medicine. It was just all me. um, and so, and they let me like drink and eat ice chips, and they even let me eat some. They never told me not to eat, but at one point when I knew there was going to be a chance I was going to have a C-section, I needed to stop eating, which of course I wasn't really ever hungry, but yeah, they never stopped me from eating. Anyways, so my body was swollen, and her head was all swelled up and cone-headed, and we were just stuck. There was no move. We couldn't move. And then at one point, the doctor came in and said that her shoulders, it appeared as though her shoulders were stuck in my pelvic floor. Like, that's great. A football player stuck inside of me. They didn't tell me this until afterwards, but the doctor said that when I was pushing, she could still see her body, like, up close to my ribs, and she said she didn't want to like tell me to discourage me, but she said at that point she figured I would probably have to have a C-section just because she could tell that she was stretch. She was so big. And so anyways, I just chilled there and had horrible contractions for a few more hours. It might not have been a few more hours. It might have just been one or two. I really don't know. Like I said, I was not keeping up with the time very well. But so anyways, I was really kind of discouraged, and I was just disappointed. It looked like I was going to have a C-section, and I felt like I wasn't doing it right. Like, how can you not push out a baby the right way? But apparently I felt like that. Later they told me that I was, and she was just stuck. So yeah, the nurses and doctors came in and said I was doing it right. I was pushing right and everything. It's just she was stuck because she was big. And I'm kind of a small person. You can't tell now because I got baby fat on me, but I'm like 5 foot, like even, and yeah, I'm just built really small. Doesn't mean I don't have fat on my body. I'm just built really small. And so anyways, yeah, so, I don't know, it might have been like 2 in the morning. I was just exhausted, and the contractions felt like they weren't stopping. Like it felt like they were so close together. It was like there was no break. They never really ceased. They just got really, really strong and then kind of eased up, but they never stopped. And I was just so exhausted. I finally asked for pain medicine in my IV, and I told my husband, I was like, I feel so bad. I want to do this. I want to do this without medicine. It's not what I want to do. I don't want to have medicine. I don't want to do it like this. And he said, at that point, he was like, baby, it's okay. It's been like 13 hours. And I was like, what? Okay. It's been a long time. So, I feel like I paid my dues, and it's okay if I have a little stretch, have a little medicine. So they gave me medicine in the IV, and basically I did this whole sleep 2 minutes, have intense contractions for 2 minutes. And when I went to sleep, like in between each contraction, which was literally I was asleep for like 2 minutes, I was completely asleep. I was having like full dreams. Like I had a dream that the aliens stole my husband's hands. It was crazy. So anyways, and then after that, it looked like I was definitely probably going to have a C-section. So I was so exhausted with me not being able to have a natural birth. It was looking like I just decided I was going to give in to not C-section. I didn't have a choice in that. The epidural. So anyways, I finally decided I was going to ask for the epidural. And so I got one, and they had to move it. They had to like poke me twice. It was crazy. So, yeah, and that hurts afterwards. Like, when you have it, you don't really feel it. But when they take it out, it's like I could feel these little knots. Like, it was bruised, and my back hurt. It was really weird. So, anyways, got the epidural, and I slept. When I finally got it, I slept for a long time. And then they finally came in and said I was going to have a C-section. I think at 6 or 7 they came in and told me. I really don't know. So anyways, they got me all ready, and anyways, rolled me back there and got Steven ready, and he came back there, and I had a C-section. And whenever they pulled her out, she didn't cry. She like whimpered like a puppy dog. It was crazy, but I guess it's from the medicine. She was kind of drowsy, but anyways, oh, and her ears, her head was like a huge cone head. You can't tell now, but it was super cone. Oh, stretch, stretch, stretch. Are you waking up? Nope. Okay. And her ears were folded flat, like folded down completely flat. It was crazy looking. And anyways, what was I gonna say? Oh, but so afterwards, later that afternoon, whenever I woke up, the doctor came back to see me, and she said that apparently the reason everything didn't go the way it was supposed to is because her umbilical cord was wrapped completely all the way around her neck. And because earlier that day, whenever there was a few times where her heart rate dropped out, and it was worrisome, but it only happened in my early labor, and her heart rate was pretty consistent in my, later in my labor, and so we didn't think anything was wrong because it just happened early on, and her heart rate was pretty consistent later. So anyways, yeah, it was wrapped completely around her neck, and there was no way she was going to be able to be born vaginally. And they said the reason that I swelled up so much was because that as I was pushing, the cord was pulling back. So basically, she was just kind of going back and forth. And yeah, so anyway, she's here. She's born at 8:04 on Friday morning, May 4th. And she was 9 pounds and 2 ounces. Show you, she's a big girl. And 21 inches long, with big feet and long fingers and long nail beds and big lips. And